stronger than we think. Insane overwork, crazy accidents, even falls from high buildings still leave a chance for a human to survive. In 2010, the photo of a man with only half of his head went viral on the internet. A lot of people were discussing whether the picture was real or not. Well, it turned out that the picture was indeed real. His name was Carl Rodriguez. He was in a horrible car accident and flew through the front windshield of the car head first. Due to the many advances in modern medicine, they were able to save him and he survived. This guy's name is Joe Hogu. When he was 4 years old, they discovered he had a strange disease and doctors had to remove half of his brain in order for him to survive. After 1 year of shame and torture, a titanium implant was installed on his head. He can now play soccer with his head. This guy is a construction worker. He fell from a high height, hitting his head on the concrete. He survived but lost half of his head. Metal lungs. Diana has lived in this capsule all her life. When she was 3 years old, she was diagnosed with a rare disease. In order for her to survive, doctors put her inside this special capsule that weighs about 500 pounds. Up until the age of 20, she could be away from the capsule for 2 to 3 hours a day. During this time, she was able to finish her high school and university. This type of equipment has been in use since the 1950s in the USA. Unfortunately, Diana was not able to transfer to a newer version of this machine, and her spinal cord lost its strength and she lost control of her body. She still was able to talk and think like normal people. In 1983, she received an honorable doctorate as a psychiatrist. Unfortunately, she died in 2008 due to an electrical failure. Her equipment was in her house, and after a power outage, the house lost all its power, and the machine's reserve generator did not start for some reason. During a very cold winter in 2008, 2-year-old Michelle was playing next to the sea. She slipped and fell into the cold water. She spent a whole hour in the water before she was found unconscious. The temperature of her body when found was only 69 degrees Fahrenheit. A human is considered to be dead when its body temperature reaches 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Nevertheless, the doctors decided to try to revive her. Luckily, she opened her eyes after the surgery. She fully recovered and suffered no brain damage. In 2006, a subway technician fell under a train. As the train rolled over him, his body started to wrap around the train wheel. Unbelievably, all this time he stayed conscious. He saw and heard how the train was cutting his body. Amazingly, after 23 surgeries and 4 months, he left the hospital. He lost his legs, thigh, and kidneys. Now he works in the subway office. In January 2010, a soccer player in Paraguay got shot in the head in the bathroom of a nightclub. Surprisingly, he survived and got back to soccer training. The bullet itself is still stuck in his head. Surgeons are afraid to take it out because it could cause brain damage. Miguel Venezuela survived the death penalty. In 1915, he was sentenced to the death penalty during the Mexican Revolutionary War. Firing squad hit his body with 9 bullets. The executioners even came up to his body and shot the last bullet right in his head to make sure he died. However, he even survived this last bullet. When the soldiers left, he just got up and ran away. A 16-year-old kid from Miami shot himself by mistake with a fishing spear. A 3-foot spear hit his head right above the eye and came out the backside of his head. After a surgery that lasted for 3 hours, he survived. A huge scar on his head is the small price he paid for his life.